The UN says more than 1,000 people, mainly civilians, have been killed in Iraq so far this month. Thousands of people have been displaced by this month's rebel uprising against the government. They've been seeking safety in refugee camps, including this one in Kalak, in the autonomous Kurdish region. Well, many Iraqis have been volunteering to join the army, urged on by the country's highest religious authority for Shias. Over 2,000 volunteers have registered with recruitment centers to fight rebel groups. And the U.S. Secretary of State has held talks in northern Iraq, where he has renewed calls for an inclusive government. John Kerry is vowing to give Iraqi security forces intense support.
The government formation challenge is the central challenge that we face. In recent days, the security cooperation between the forces here in the Kurdish area have been really critical to helping to draw a line with respect to ISIL and also to provide some support to the Iraqi security forces.
Well, Imran Khan joins us live now from Baghdad. So, Imran, what reaction has there been so far to John Kerry's message?
Well, there's been one of disappointment from many people across the political spectrum and also amongst ordinary Iraqis. The message that he brought: Iraq needs to form a government, it needs to form a government quickly, and it needs to be a unified government, has been seen by some as being meddling in the internal affairs, the political affairs of the country. What Iraqis wanted, what many politicians wanted, was concrete help for the government in battling the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant and the other fighters. Now, this was a two-day trip to the region. Interestingly, he didn't actually spend the night in Iraq. He spent the night in Jordan, then arrived in Erbil in the Iraqi Kurdistan territories on Tuesday morning, gave exactly the same message there as well. Now, whilst all of this was going on, the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant have made more gains. There have been fierce clashes in Beji in the northwest of the country, where at least 26 people have died. But it's not just about the military and the armed fighting that's going on. It's also about taking over towns and using the civilian administration to try and win over the local populations there. That's a tactic that ISIL and the Sunni rebels are using. So let's take a look now at exactly what that means. This is Huwaiji in northwestern Iraq. These pictures, taken on Monday, show the rebels are running the affairs of the town. By providing services, the rebels are hoping they can get local people to cooperate and consolidate their hold.
Praise to God, everything is normal now in terms of social life and security. Things are much better now in comparison to how they used to be under the control of those tyrants.
Ahmed Zbeidi is a political analyst who says the rebels are acting in a tactical manner.
It did surprise people on the high command. They were surprised by the speed of the attack and also by the civic services and management of the towns the ISIL provided.
But it's not just about providing services. Another key tactic is taking over border posts. Now, they've taken over border posts on the borders with Jordan and with Syria, and that's key for them. From Syria, it allows them to bring in reinforcements back into Iraq. Also, the military equipment that they've captured, things like Humvee armoured cars and howitzers, they're able to take those from Iraq back into Syria. On the Jordanian side of Karama, you can see there's little traffic, which suggests the rebels have control of the crossing.
The army is retreating from the border point, and the whole situation is unstable.
What has surprised many here in Iraq is not just the speed in which the rebels have taken over towns, but the strategic thinking that's come with it. Military analysts say that the rebels are using the experience they've gained in Syria and Iraq to their advantage, and that's why they're proving to be a formidable enemy to Iraq's security forces. So you see there the tactics that the Islamic State of Iraq and Levant and the other Sunni rebels are using, but there's also a media war that's going on between all sides. Now, the Beji oil refinery, Iraq's biggest, is at the center of this media war. We keep hearing that it's either in control of the government, and that's what the government keeps saying, or the rebels keep saying no, that we're in charge. We are actually in charge of the refinery. Now, independent observers, as much as there can be in all of this, have suggested that it is the rebels that are in charge, but they do have a tenuous hold. So expect more of this claim and counterclaim as this crisis goes on.
Imran Khan live for us in Baghdad. Imran, thank you.